our last performer for today is going to be Elvin, who is going to announce his and all that.
I'm gonna be playing a piece by Tchaikovsky. This is still a work in progress, so I don't really expect much.
Right. And that was Elvin playing piece by Tchaikovsky, the 12 pieces Chanson Triste. All right, so I am going to restart the poll now, and we can take a look at that. All right, you guys can start filling out the poll, and then if you have any verbal feedback, you can raise your hand pretty much. And then does anyone have any verbal feedback to give? Or start calling on people? Matt, right, want to go ahead?
I thought the body movement was repetitive, and I think you could expand the range of dynamics.
Right, yeah. Anyone else? How about Bonnie?
I thought the dynamics were good. I think it could use a bit more variation, though. Again, the movement was a bit repetitive. I think you can change that up a bit to make the piece more exciting. And yeah, I think your balance and phrasing was pretty good. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, so give another 10 seconds for everyone to fill out the poll, and then we can go over that as well. Okay, so wrap up the poll now, and I'll show the result. Okay, so in terms of dynamics, yeah, so as mentioned with the comments, you got 1 vote for 2, 3 votes for 3, and yeah, I think while you definitely followed most of the dynamics, expanding it a bit, kind of like what Bonnie said, especially when there's several like crescendos and decrescendos and like different points going into piano and accents and all that stuff. So kind of emphasizing that dynamically will be super important with this piece. Articulation was a little bit all over. There was 1 vote for 4, 2 votes for 3, and 1 vote for 2. And yeah, there's a lot of accent marks in here, and you definitely you got most of them, but there were a few that I think could be emphasized a bit more, and I think that's a really big part of one, the articulation, and also into that phrasing as well to go on. Balance, we got 1 vote for 2, 1 vote for 3, and 1 vote for 2 votes for 3, and 1 vote for 4. I didn't hear any major balance issues. There are a few moments though when especially when the lower, when the left hand gets really, really low, it can sound a little bit louder. So I think being wary of that would be a big point in the balance section. Phrasing was a little bit of a lower score. We got 2 votes for 2, 1 vote for 3, and 1 vote for 4. So in terms of the phrasing, yeah, it sounded like there was and this kind of goes with the movement and the expression, but the phrasing, there's a few sections where it felt a little bit repetitive, like there wasn't too much phrasing in it. Also, I think also just kind of like dynamically building through the piece dynamically, as well as like the various articulations that kind of go into the phrasing as well. And also the melodies written into the all the chords, kind of just making sure to bring that out and emphasize how it goes as well. That's a really big part in terms of working on the phrasing, I think. And then the last part, movement, you got a 3 votes for 2, 1 vote for 3. So that was the lowest score of them all. And yeah, definitely the piece moves, it flows. And while it does have this like 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of pulse, adding some variation to it, and this goes along with the phrasing, could help with building the piece overall and like the feel to the piece, definitely. All right. So